I wake into a world that hums with drafts and thermals, a soft highway of moving air whispering outside my window. A family lifts off from the balcony opposite, hands linked, knees tucked, backpack snug, as naturally as people once stepped onto a sidewalk. My name is Daniel, and here flight is a basic skill like reading, learned early and refined for a lifetime. We speak the manners of the air, the way our grandparents learned road rules. Yield to descent, keep a glide path, and never slice through a busy thermal like a swimmer cutting lanes. First, how we actually do this. Some among us sprout stronger backs and wider ribs than our ancestors, but the real magic is technique and light gear, jacket sewn with microveins, ankle fins that whisper, and a body taught to read lift the same way a musician reads a key signature. The sky is zoned, not chained. Altitude bands like gently painted lanes, low for learners and elders, mid-level for daily commuters and couriers, high for long-haul flocks that cross cities at dawn. We teach children to fly the way we once taught handwriting, soften the knees, flare before landing, hold a hover without drifting, and breathe as if the air itself is listening. Architecture climbed with us. Facades where perch ledges, rooftops are plazas, gardens, and libraries, skybridges lace towers so friends can meet midair and share an apple on the way to work. Work re-threaded the city. Markets stack in tiers, deliveries trace direct arcs instead of streets, and lunch breaks include a 10-minute spiral over the river to rinse the mind clean. Equity matters in the sky. Not everybody is built or willing to fly the same way, so we formed carry circles, neighbors who lift together, adaptive harnesses that normalize asking for help, and an ethic that speed without solidarity is just noise. Safety is a culture, not a gadget. Wind wardens guide commuters through gusty pockets, bright emergency nets bloom under busy corridors, first responders descend like needles, not hammers, stitching calm through sudden weather. Sports exploded into 3 dimensions, skyball with floating rings that drift like tides, thermal surfing judged on elegance as much as speed, lantern races that sketch constellations across dusk, art listened to lift, sculptors suspend mobiles, so breezes finish the form, poets inscribe verses to be read in a spiral, musicians compose for the rush in your ears when you fall and the hush in a hover. Faith took new shapes without abandoning the old. Some temples open roofs and rise during hymns, spacing themselves like notes on a staff. Others stay entirely earthbound, a stillness with room for wings. We owe birds rent for these lessons. Cities map avian corridors we keep clear at migration hours, towers wear perch bands instead of spikes, and children grow up knowing swifts and cranes by their slow, beautiful verbs. Agriculture reached for the wind. Hanging orchards sway on cables. Bees hum along their own safe lanes. Harvesters drift and pluck with baskets that ride the slipstream like patient kites. Long distances slowed into wonder rather than haste. Most people hop between cities and steppes, while long-haul flyers join flocks and rest on cloud decks beside quiet airships that hum like whales made of silk. Health followed the wind, too. Therapy trains balance at different altitudes. Ankles learn to listen, lungs stretch and settle, and medics treat air hunger panic with breath patterns that feel like being caught kindly by a net. I leave my building with a whispering step, slide into the low lane, and feel the city's morning pulse, 100 small stories threading the same river of air. My father meets me above the bakery, laughing that he once spent vacations in lines. Now, we mark special days by the shape of the currents we share rather than the miles we log. You can tell where you are by the wind. River updraft sweet and broad, stadium crossbreeze fussy, thermal stacks over the old brickyard spooling lift like a staircase. The law learned to breathe with us. The air commons belongs to everyone. The first flyer in a thermal keeps the column. High lane couriers file simple flight notes. And privacy means not drafting on a stranger's wake without consent. Power lines moved indoors, gardens climbed terraces, streetlights turned into wind beacons that signal gusts with a color shift you can spot at a glance. Even manners adapted. Announce your approach with a soft wrist chime. Land downwind of a conversation. Never scrape your soles on a public ledge. School lessons now include airlit, a shared sign language of hands, feet, and chin for passing left, taking lift, and thank you for the wake. Culture changed tone more than speed. Festivals float ribbon parades from tower to tower. Weddings vow atop a thermal, funerals circle high, letting our shadows touch the places they loved on the way down. Disaster response reimagined itself. When fire jumps a canyon, we become 100 water bearers. When floodwaters rise, courtyards bloom with lifelines. When quakes still the air, we stay low and carry together. Crime rearranged rather than vanished. Poachers used to skim orchard tiers at night until we installed hush nets and wind beacons. Thieves tried gust alibis before the public wind log made the sky more accountable than any camera. Politics included wind equity, who gets safe routes to school, who bears the drone of courier lanes, who funds gentle thermals above clinics and calm ledges near community kitchens. You might imagine chaos overhead, but the sky is mostly quiet. One of our earliest discoveries was that loudness makes you clumsy, so our cities sound like conversation and wind, not machines. Children still chase each other. They just chase in 3 dimensions, tracing math homework with a toe point that hangs in the air for a heartbeat before dissolving like glittering sums. Flying didn't cure loneliness. It gave us a kinder doorway. You can cross a city to knock on someone's window, hover with your apology, and let the wind carry the first draft of your courage. We learned to read weather like a book. Overnight, thermals low and sleepy, noon gusts talkative, late storms writing thick paragraphs no one can skip without a consequence. Forecasts became choreography. Markets open when the river breathes, schools release early when the high lanes go twitchy, couriers fly in pairs when the cross breeze writes the wrong kind of music. Clothes learned restraint, pockets zipped and low profile, scarves became short loops, shoes got soft soles that never scuff a ledge, and haircuts gained a category called updraft honesty. My work today is guiding a mixed group, new flyers, couriers, and a pair of festival artists, along a mid-level corridor that tends to pinch near noon. I'll tune the route the way you tune a violin, small adjustments, and good listening. We begin with breath, 4 counts in, 4 held, 6 out until the shoulders drop and the ears stop trying to read panic as prophecy. From here, we can see the bird corridor start to thicken, swift bodies writing cursive across the river mouth. We nod and give them the right of way, as if they taught us how to read, and we still owe tuition. A courier asks about wake etiquette on tight turns. I answer that the wake is a promise you leave behind. Make it smooth, and you said, "I see you," to whoever reads your line. A new flyer drifts toward an elder. I tap his wrist twice, our signal for mind your shadow, and he slides left, the kind of small, beautiful correction that keeps a city kind. A gust shouldered into our lane once, years ago. The wind wardens arrived like tailors, fitting the air into better cloth, bubble screens over the hot stone, shade slats angled to shave the teeth off noon. We learned to sculpt wind the way settlers used to canal water. We do it politely, knowing the sky is a commons and the birds were here first. By midday, the artists peel off to rehearse ribbon choreography, glossy strips that echo each other in loops, while couriers climb to the high band, and my learners practice landings on the library roof. Lunch happens on a ledge with a quiet trade. I give a student a spare glide strap. He gives me a jar of orchard pears grown on a hanging terrace that sways like a hammock. My father meets us there. Pointing at a cloud we call the ferry, a flat-bottomed thing that holds your weight when you need an unearned rest, and tells a story about a road trip where the traffic was a weather pattern made of steel. We do not mock the ground, we visit it with gratitude. Lawns are quieter, trees more plentiful. The old benches are full of people who prefer sitting still and teaching the rest of us how to land with grace. The afternoon is for reading lift, finding the polite edges of a thermal, avoiding the chewing middle, letting wings of fabric do less as bodies do more. Sometimes I think we were always built for this. Forearms that like to balance, legs that spring without complaint, a spine that's happiest when the horizon is not a line but a door. After lunch, I brief a team of sky shepherds on a festival route. We mark rest perches, stagger lantern releases to avoid blind glow, and arrange for a quiet corridor during dusk prayers. The city's wind beacons shift to amber as temperatures climb. We tighten straps, shorten loops, lower our center of gravity. A little chorus of small decisions, making the sky safer without fanfare. A call comes from a clinic. They need a soft lane for patients learning to fly after long illness. We reassign a courier loop for an hour and hang patient flags that tell every passerby to keep wakes smooth. Some people will never leave the low lanes by choice. Their courage counts no less. And on good days, I remember to measure progress by care rather than altitude. I still think about the first time I hovered without drifting, how silence arrived like a room that had always been there, waiting for me to slow down enough to find the door. Problems remain. We argue about sky rent, lease space priced higher than noisy penthouses. We debate the hum of drone corridors. We fight, then leave each other a clean wake, because we mean to meet again tomorrow. Freight still belongs to airships and cranes. A human spine can carry only so much joy and only so many crates, and wisdom is knowing when not to lift. You want to know about schools? The youngest practice on spring mornings when stone glows warm and forgiving. Older students spend a year learning storm sense with mentors, and everyone passes down safe, a right where you show you can land kindly no matter what. Down safe used to scare me until my father reminded me that the ground is the first friend you made. It taught you to stand, and it never stopped wanting you back in one piece. Sunset rehearsals begin. The lantern route loops past hospitals, elders' homes, and the river reservoir, places we draw in with light to say, we carry you too. Then the blue hush arrives, the small hour between heat and cold, when warm roofs exhale and everyone rides the same soft river home. We pass a rooftop library with windbreaks, readers tucked into corners, pages held flat with small stones, a stillness that tests strong wings in a kinder way than any race. You can tell a city's character by its night lanes. Ours dim the courier bands, open stargazer routes, and keep the bird corridor a cathedral of quiet. When the aurora visits, it's a public holiday we call the Green Choir. We fold our wings and let the sky sing through us, knowing we are not the main character in every story. Kids slip tiny bells into their shoelaces for festivals. The sound is forest rain when a parade turns a corner, and the joy feels like efficient weather. Back at the bakery's ledge, my father tells me the same joke, how he used to pack a sandwich to eat in traffic, and we laugh, both aware that a simple hover with someone you love can be a better feast than any place with a reservation. Flying made us humbler, not grander. We are not gods. We are neighbors with better access. We don't own the wind. We borrow it, repay, with quiet, and share it with the same attention we want for ourselves. I end the day by guiding a nervous teen through a night landing. Knees bent, breath low, eyes on a ledge, mind on kindness. He touches down, trembles, laughs, and cries. I tell him it's normal to feel like all three at once. People ask what changed most. The honest answer is not speed or freedom. It's tone. We began to treat time and space the way good listeners treat conversation. Less interruption, more rhythm, fewer performances, better duets. In the quiet that follows, I list small rules that saved us. Listen first, leave a clean wake, give birds the right of way, carry together, land kindly, look where your shadow falls. And then I feel that tug we have all learned to honor, the call to go home, not by map, but by the line you left in the afternoon and the people waiting for you at its end. I spiral down beside my father. We exchange a wrist tap that means with you, we float a moment longer than necessary, because necessary has never understood the point of a sunset. If this journey widened your sky, subscribe, leave a like, and share it with someone who dreams of gentler cities and kinder wakes. Thanks for flying with me. See you on the next horizon.